Tennessee's Wild Side, broadcast for nearly 2 decades, was originally created through a vision of the Jackson Foundation. The foundation remains a supportive partner in the mission to educate viewers about wildlife, natural resources, and opportunities for outdoor adventure. Tennessee's Wild Side is produced in association with Rockwater TV.
Hi friends, welcome to the Wild Side. I'm Steve Hall. As you regularly see on our show, Tennessee is filled with a rich natural history that's been celebrated for generations. But what about the history that might be considered unnatural? Well, it is expressed not in pictures or video, but in folklore and word of mouth by families who've experienced strange occurrences and lived to tell their paranormal tale. Big Ridge State Park is one such place that has preserved these ghostly stories from the community. So join us in Maynardville as we explore these fascinating accounts.
Beneath the native barren beech trees and along the winding way is a deep and mysterious history. It is rooted in the woods of Big Ridge State Park, and it's called the Ghost Trail.
There were hundreds of families that lived on the park. We still have 5 cemeteries on the park that still immortalize those families. One of the most famous ones was the Hutchison family, which several of them are buried behind me right now.
The Hutchinsons are among the families associated with sightings, sounds, and stories, described as anything but ordinary. Some might even call them supernatural.
Whether it was real or not, it starts to become harder to believe that all these members of the community have made these stories up. Because if so, now we've got multiple families who are testifying to their experience. I think it really helps solidify that legitimacy that there might have been something actually going on out here.
These legends have attracted visitors both locally and nationally, as thrill seekers search to find their own evidence of the paranormal.
We were just looking for hiking trails. We live like 30 minutes away, and I was just Googling hiking trails and somehow ended up in like haunted places around us, and I saw this and I thought it was super cool because I've been to Big Ridge a lot of times and I never knew about this, so that's why we're here.
Yeah, we love anything spooky.
Yeah.
So we figured we would come out here and see if we could find anything.
Buried in the Ghost Trail Cemetery is Maston Hutchinson, a local farmer who rests here with his wife and other family members.
For whatever reason, Maston is the subject, or the leading subject of a lot of these ghost stories, in his family and his house. And he was buried in that cemetery we were just previously in. And he's buried beside Harm Norton. I'm not sure why, but their wives are buried below them or at their feet, and they are beside each other. And I'm not sure why that is. Typically the husband and wife are beside each other.
It takes a keen eye to see beyond the leaves and branches on the trail to identify the significant landmarks that remain.
The spot that we're standing at here was actually at one time a location of one of the homes of folks that lived back in these parts. Just behind me was a cistern well, which would have caught rainwater and been an open area that they could have retrieved water for cooking and drinking and so forth.
In 1936, TVA came in, flooded the valley. There were a lot of families that left, and the park was formed. So there's a lot of history about the life before this was a park that we still celebrate here on the park.
While it's difficult for the eye to detect man-made markers that remain, many have found that a sharp ear and a clever dog are essential in discovering perceived paranormal events.
The description of these noises and the people that it was coming from definitely implies that it wasn't just something natural out there.
One such story is of a noisy but unseen wagon passing through the community.
Many of them claim that they had heard this wagon, and it obviously took the name on as the ghost wagon.
I have heard current stories of people, their dogs do not like this section of trail. I've heard that dogs sometimes go crazy through here. And if that's attributed to the legends, it's hard to say, but there are eyewitness accounts of dogs acting kind of funny through here.
These guys are weird all the time, so it's hard to tell a difference, especially that one. No, they're fine. I know there's like a bit of, some of the areas out here have a bit of a dark past.
We're not suggesting there are really ghosts here, although I could have sworn I heard a little girl laugh a second ago. Probably just the wind. As far as the paranormal goes, that'll be up for you to decide. Either way, it's a great adventure.
All the stories that we kind of celebrate are of the families that actually lived here on the park, and we commemorate that every year during the month of October. We do ghost house hikes where we come out, sometimes in period dress, sometimes as rangers, where we tell the stories in the setting that they were about.
The Ghost Trail, to many, is an exciting experience that goes beyond a typical hiking path. But there is so much more to Big Ridge State Park. It has become a kind of community that has carried on these haunting accounts for generations.
It is. We've got actually several employees of the park are Flatfords, so they're related to the Hutchisons.
Back in the 1970s, we're told one of those Flatfords actually witnessed an unexplained disappearance of a mysterious young girl.
Yes, that was my great-grandfather, Ranger Fred Flatford. As he was making his nightly rounds one night, as he did every night, and he came to check here at the grist mill, and he noticed that as he pulled in the parking lot that's behind you here, he noticed the door was open. So as he come up the steps here and he looked in, he saw what appeared to be about an 8, 9, 10-year-old little girl, black hair, and he said that she was crying. He felt like maybe that she had been separated, you know, from her parents, and as he began to speak with her, he never could get her to look up. So he kept his headlights on the door, went back to the truck, radioed to call the sheriff's department, but as he come back to check on her again, she was gone. And he never could explain that, and he was a man that didn't tell things unless they really happened. He was an honest man, and he really was, and so he never could explain that, and they never saw her again.
There is an atmosphere of the unknown that surrounds this park, and while there may be some debate over the truth of these ghostly apparitions, it is certainly open to personal interpretation.
I don't know. Just come see for yourself.
Seeing an apparition, I guess, or
Yeah.
just hearing some dogs barking. Who knows?
Seeing an apparition, or maybe some sort of spooky like voices or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just a good hiking trail.
In Big Ridge State Park, I'm Ezekiel Noel Hall on the Wild Side.
Tennessee's Wild Side has been a presentation of the Jackson Foundation in association with Rockwater TV.